Hey guys, it's Sean O'Connell, the managing editor here at Cinema Blend, hopping on a video to talk about this massive news breaking out of Warner Brothers and HBO Max, where they're going to bring their entire slate of films throughout the course of 2020 to their streaming service as well as to theaters. This is a groundbreaking bit of news. We have to break it down, and I kind of want to talk people off the ledge. But before we do that, go down and hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and that way every time we post a new video here on Cinema Blend, you will be the first one to know about it. Okay, just in case you are hearing about this for the very first time, let me tell you what's going on. Warner Brothers is about to release Wonder Woman 1984 onto HBO Max, their streaming service, and also in select theaters starting on Christmas Day. And people thought that might be an anomaly, where they're just sort of going to test the waters and see how this plays. But it turns out that this is going to be their commitment for the entire year of 2021, which means all of Warner Brothers films are going to be going to theaters, but in places where they can't have theaters open because the COVID numbers are still really bad, they're going to make these movies available on HBO Max as well too. This includes such films as Godzilla vs. Kong, Dune, The Suicide Squad, and The Matrix 4. These are major titles that are going to be doing a day and date release both on HBO Max streaming and then going to theaters. The reason why this is so unprecedented is because the movie theater chains and exhibitors never let this happen before. They always wanted to have this window of exclusivity where they would have the ability to screen the movies for X amount of time, and it used to be 90 days. But the pandemic has changed the way that the industry has been moving forward, and certain studios like Universal worked out a deal with the theaters to shorten that window and to bring it down to about 17 days. And now, from what we're seeing, Warner Brothers has completely removed it. They're going to be able to go to streaming on the same day that they go to theaters and just completely eliminate the exclusivity window, giving people the opportunity to either go to a theater if they want to go see something like Dune, or stay home and watch Dune on their televisions in the safety of their living rooms. They will only have those movies on HBO Max for a month before they go away. The movies will continue to screen in theaters for as long as physically possible, and because the competition, I think, at movie theaters isn't going to be nearly as strong, it will allow those movies to potentially recoup some of their budget by playing to smaller theaters, because we're going to be in theaters that have to still implement some type of social distancing, and we won't be at 100% capacity when these movies play. But if you play something like Wonder Woman 1984 for the course of 2 to 3 months, you may be able to recoup some of the money that you lost because some people watched it on streaming. All right, I want to talk about why I think that this is a necessary decision that Warner Brothers had to do, and why I'm pretty confident that most of the studios are going to follow suit and do the same thing. Right now, theaters are just not able to open safely. COVID numbers are going up in multiple places. We cannot get back to theaters and enjoy a film packed in an audience filled with audience members because of social distancing and because people don't feel safe right now. We cannot be stuck in a system where we are constantly pushing back release dates and delaying production schedules because people can't get onto film sets or television sets and work on the products to keep the production cycle moving. You have to eventually figure out some system to get the films, the stories, the entertainment that has been filmed in front of audiences. And this is the best case scenario in order to do it. Theaters are open in some places, but there are a lot of cities where they are not available. We don't have the ability to do a global audience blast for a title like Wonder Woman 1984. However, this is the best case scenario of you're allowing the story to come out on streaming so that people can watch it the same time that people are able to go to the theaters. If you are a diehard movie theater fan and you have a theater open near you and you feel safe going to the theater, you hopefully will have that option to be able to do that. But because of this age of piracy and of course the abundance of caution around spoilers, putting something on streaming at the same time that you put it in theaters will allow fans to participate in the water cooler opportunities to talk about some of the big things that are happening in a lot of these movies. Something like A Quiet Place 2, if Paramount ever gets around to the point where they're also going to put it on paid VOD at the same time as theaters. They haven't decided that yet, but that could be something that happens down the line. Something like with No Time to Die, the James Bond film. It solves the solution of, hey, we can't get into theaters everywhere globally, but if we have a paid VOD option, fans will be able to watch it at home, not get spoiled on the story, keep up with everything what's happening with James Bond's final adventure for Daniel Craig, and just be in the loop. And I know that that's not like essential, but it's a compromise that I think the movie theaters are trying to implement that benefits both the audience members and the theaters, even though it's not a huge win for theaters. I just feel that, like, after the past 8 or 9 months of us dealing with delays and uncertainty and the fluidness of the situation, somebody had to move forward with a stronger plan that started to get these movies back in front of audiences and keep the production cycle moving, and going with a split option that allows movies to be both on streaming and in theaters at the exact same time is the right move to make at this moment. So what does this mean for the future going forward? I don't think that it's the doom and gloom that people are making it out to be, and I don't think it's the end of the movie theater exhibition as we know it. It might change a lot, and a lot of this depends on how the other studios react to Warner Brothers news. Is Disney also going to do this? Is Universal and Paramount and Lionsgate, are they going to follow suit also? I can honestly see Disney doing it relatively soon. They've already sort of approached this model with the fact that they're going to have Soul on Disney Plus starting on Christmas Day also, and I could see a situation where they say, hey, for 2021 we're also going to take all of our movies and put them on Disney Plus at the exact same time that they come out to theaters. So it gives theaters the opportunity to have some of the Disney product, because with Disney you're talking about Disney Animation, you're talking about Pixar, you're talking about Marvel. We don't have Star Wars on the horizon, but that would be a component in play at some point down the line. So if everybody sort of gets on board for the short term, say for 2021, potentially the beginning of 2022, this might be the model that everybody gets to. However, the minute that the studios decide to say, okay, our stuff isn't going to streaming anymore, the exclusivity returns back to theaters. Now, can theaters stay open or stay in some sort of capacity where they are ready to receive movies? That's the struggle. And if anything major sort of happens, I don't think we're going to get rid of the movie theater experience completely as something in our culture, but you may not have 24 screen multiplexes anymore. You might have 5 screen multiplexes where big event pictures go and play for, 4 to 5 months essentially at this point, and then they cycle out and the next thing comes. Because if you think about it, we are at a stage now where the streaming services are recruiting who used to be movie star talents. We're watching Amy Adams and Glenn Close in a Ron Howard film, and it's going to Netflix. George Clooney is directing a science fiction survival story, and it's going to Netflix. I'm currently watching a show on HBO that stars Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, 2 bona fide movie stars, and they're in a TV show for HBO. The line has blurred completely, and we no longer see those movie stars that bring people out to theaters. So I do think the theatrical model is going to change, but I don't think it's going to go away. Look, I understand. It feels like we're standing on a slippery slope, or the sand beneath our feet is not as solid as it used to be. That's just the reality. And I think that the pandemic probably pushed a lot of this forward, but that's where we are. And to me, honestly, it's a little bit encouraging to see studios embrace the honesty and the reality of the situation, and to start coming up with some solutions, like saying, at least going into this next year, the movies that you've been anticipating are coming. They're just coming in a different format than you thought. All right, needless to say, this story is going to be developing as we continue to see not only what happens with Warner Brothers, but if the other studios decide that they're going to go down this model also. Maybe they decide to go down partially, and there's sort of tweaks to how they roll it out. All of our eyes are kind of on Disney right now because they are the major player in addition to Warner Brothers, and we kind of want to see what happens with their titles. So make sure that you keep it with Cinema Blend as we continue to track this story. Head to the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this, and while you're down there, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. We're posting videos like this all the time on our YouTube channel. We want to make sure that you guys get to see every single one of them.